I lost my job, and my BIL said I was just another mouth to feed. He started charging me rent for the guest room in my own house. My wife transferred him the money without telling me. I slept in the garage that night. A month later, I made sure he paid me back, with interest. I'm 42 years old, living in Tempe, Arizona. I was married to Rachel for 14 years. No kids. We talked about having them, but life kept pushing it back. We both had good jobs. She was a teacher at a local high school, and I worked as an assistant ops manager at a supply chain company. I handled logistics, people, numbers, made things run smooth. We weren't rich, but we were solid. Then last year, everything fell apart. My company downsized. Out of nowhere. I was in the middle of ordering coffee when my boss called me into his office and said my position was being phased out. That was it. 12 years. Gone in 5 minutes. I came home early. Rachel wasn't even home yet. I just sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor. When she got home and I told her, she hugged me. She said we'd be okay, that we had some savings. She told me not to panic. At that moment, I believed her. Things felt shaky, but manageable. I spent every day searching for jobs, emailing people, applying for positions I didn't even want. But nothing was coming in. 2 weeks into this, Rachel dropped a bomb on me. Her brother Nathan was coming to stay for a bit. His girlfriend had kicked him out. Rachel didn't ask, just told me. Nathan was 32, a full-grown man. No job, no ambition. His resume was a list of places he quit or got fired from. He called himself a freelancer, but I never saw him do anything. I'd known him since college. He was always the same, lazy, manipulative, always managed to land on his feet. He showed up with 2 garbage bags of clothes, a backpack, and his busted laptop. Took over the guest room, made himself at home immediately. Started using our Netflix, eating our food, and playing music late at night. I tried to be polite. I bit my tongue. First week, he didn't even thank us. Just laid around. I started noticing little things. Empty Red Bulls stacking up in the recycling bin, dirty dishes in the sink all day. He never lifted a finger. I figured Rachel would say something. She didn't. Instead, she started defending him. He's just adjusting, she said. Adjusting to what? Free rent? Free food? Then Nathan started getting bold. Made little comments. Must be nice not having to get up early, he said one morning. Or, guess Rachel's carrying the team now, huh? I let slide. I shouldn't have. 3 weeks in, I was making coffee when he walked in, looked me up and down, and said, no offense, but you're kind of just another mouth to feed right now. He laughed after, like it was a joke, but his eyes were dead serious. Then he grabbed the last bagel and walked off. I was stunned. I told Rachel that night. She brushed it off. Nathan's just joking. Don't take it so personally. I was already walking on eggshells. Hearing that from her felt like a gut punch. She started acting like I was the burden. A few days later, it got worse. Nathan came to me with a printed invoice. Rent, he said, for the guest room. I laughed, thought it was a prank. He wasn't smiling. $200 a month, he said. Pretty cheap. You're out of your mind, I said. This is my house. Well, he said, Rachel and I talked. It's only fair. You're not working. Everyone should contribute. My jaw hit the floor. I went straight to Rachel. She didn't deny it. I just think it would make you feel more responsible, she said. You already gave him money? I asked. I transferred it yesterday, she said, like it was no big deal. Don't make this a thing. That night, I didn't even go to the bedroom. I grabbed a pillow and blanket and slept in the garage. It was over 100 degrees outside. No AC. Just silence. I sat there sweating and staring at the ceiling, wondering how the hell my life became this. The next morning, I packed a duffel bag and left. I didn't say goodbye. I crashed at my friend Tony's house on the other side of Mesa. He didn't ask questions, just gave me the spare room and said, stay as long as you need. I stayed 3 weeks. And during that time, something changed in me. I was angry, yeah, but I was also clear. I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I started thinking about exactly what happened and what I could do about it. I made a list. Everything Nathan had used since he moved in. Every drink, every meal, every hour of AC, every hot shower, every day of unpaid rent he owed. I checked receipts, bank records, utility bills. I even logged time-stamped music plays from the speaker I could still hear through the baby monitor app, one never uninstalled from the guest room. Then I did some digging. I found out Nathan had lied to get a personal loan Rachel co-signed years ago. He claimed he had full-time employment with a startup that shut down 2 years before the application. Straight-up fraud. Rachel never knew. I also pulled the title for our house. Bought before we got married. My name only. Arizona's a community property state, but this was outside of that. Rachel had no legal stake unless I gave her one, which I never did. Last, I checked Rachel's Venmo history. Nathan had been requesting her money weekly for groceries, rideshare, whatever, but I found trash receipts. He never bought the things he claimed. He was just draining her bit by bit. While all this was happening, I landed a job. Not amazing pay, but steady. Full-time logistics coordinator position with a newer warehouse group in Chandler. I accepted. Then I waited a few more days. When I came back home, Rachel acted like nothing happened. Nathan was on my couch, feet up, watching TV like a king. I told Rachel we needed to talk. She said fine, but not tonight. So I waited until morning. I woke up early, made coffee, and waited. Nathan came in around 10 a.m., rubbing his eyes. Morning, he mumbled. I slid a printed paper across the table. An itemized invoice. Rent, utilities, food, streaming services, gas. Total, $2,371. You owe me, I said. Cash or check? He snorted. Get real. I looked at Rachel. Calm, cold. You co-signed a loan based on a lie. He committed fraud. You're on the hook unless we come clean. Also, you transferred money to him without my consent for a guest room in my house. Rachel started shaking. I didn't know. I spoke to a lawyer, I said. I'm giving you both a chance to fix it. Or I'll call the bank myself. Nathan stood up. You can't evict me. I already filed a 5-day notice, I said. It's legal. House is in my name. Want me to show you the title? He looked at Rachel like he expected her to defend him. She didn't. I handed her a flash drive. Everything's on there. Texts, screenshots, bank records. I want it gone, and I want my money. Nathan moved out 2 days later. He left behind a broken chair, 2 energy drinks, and a stained pillow. I didn't stop there. I anonymously reported the loan fraud, told the bank everything. They launched an investigation. Rachel's name was cleared. Nathan wasn't so lucky. Now he's in legal trouble. Might end up in court. Might face charges. Rachel and I, we're not the same. We're doing counseling, but I keep a mental wall up. Some betrayals don't go away, no matter how many sessions you sit through. And me? I'm back at work. I come home, I eat dinner alone, and I sleep in the garage sometimes. Not because I have to, but because it's the only place that still feels like mine. That workbench? I'm rebuilding something, but I'm not done yet. About 2 weeks after Nathan left, things got quiet. Too quiet. Rachel and I were barely talking. We ate meals in the same room, but we might as well have been on different planets. She didn't bring up what happened. I didn't either. I was still trying to wrap my head around the fact that my own wife thought it was okay to send her loser brother rent money for my house. Then one night, I saw her texting someone. She tilted the screen away when I walked by. It was subtle, but I caught it. Who are you texting? I asked. Work stuff, she said too fast. I didn't argue. I just nodded and walked out of the room. Later that night, while she was in the shower, I checked her laptop. She left it open. I didn't feel guilty. Not after everything that had already gone down. Turns out, work stuff was Nathan. They'd been texting every day since he left. Nothing romantic, but plenty of whining from him about how I was ruining his life and how I was obsessed with control. She didn't defend me in those messages. Not once. In one, she even said, I still feel like I betrayed you. But he won't let it go. He's acting like I did it all on purpose. In another, she told him, I just don't know if I can live with someone who keeps score like that. That part got to me. I sat in the dark, reading those messages over and over. She wasn't apologizing for what she did. She was mad that I wasn't getting over it fast enough. The next day, I asked her straight up, Are you still talking to Nathan? She paused. Why? That's a yes. I'm trying to help him get his life together, she said. He's still my brother. He's a grown man. He can get his life together without you bailing him out behind my back. I'm not, she started, then stopped. You're hiding stuff again. No, I'm not, she said, but her voice was shaking. I nodded. You know what? I am tired. What does that mean? It means I want a break. From all of this. From you. She looked stunned. Not sad. Just caught off guard. Like it never occurred to her that I might actually reach a breaking point. I packed a bag and went back to Tony's place. Tony didn't say a word. Just gave me a beer and the same spare room. 3 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. We need to talk. You made your point, but this isn't over. I blocked the number. A week passed. Then, something strange happened. I got notice from the HOA. Said I was in violation for unauthorized structural additions to the garage. What? I hadn't touched the garage since I built those shelves years ago. I went home to check it out. That's when I noticed the camera. A small, black motion sensor camera, barely visible, tucked under the roofline above the garage door. I ripped it down and opened it up. Inside was a micro SD card, full of footage. Recent footage. Turns out Nathan had installed it before he moved out. Probably the same day, I served him notice. I didn't even notice the ladder was gone from the backyard at the time. I checked the footage. Nothing incriminating, just hours and hours of me going in and out, sitting at the workbench, pacing. But the intent, that was clear. He was spying on me. Rachel swore she didn't know. I believed her, but it didn't matter anymore. I contacted the police and filed a harassment report. They couldn't do much since the camera was technically outside the house, but it was enough to spook Nathan. I know because I got another blocked call 2 days later. I didn't answer. Then Rachel texted me. You filed a report? I replied, damn right I did. I was done playing nice. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to get even. I was going to end this. After I filed that report, I didn't hear from Nathan directly again. But that didn't mean he was done. About a week later, I noticed something weird with my credit. I have a monitoring service that pings me anytime there's a new inquiry or change. One night, I got a notification. New credit card application submitted in your name. I froze. I hadn't applied for anything. I opened the details, and my stomach dropped. It had my full name, old address, even my social security number. But the email used was not mine. A Gmail account I'd never seen before. I called the credit card company immediately. Reported it as identity theft. They shut it down. Then I went a step further. I pulled all 3 of my credit reports. That's when I saw 2 more things. A store credit card I didn't open and a bank account I'd never heard of. I filed fraud reports with every agency. I had a suspicion, but I needed proof. So I called in a favor. Tony's cousin works in cybersecurity. Just casual stuff, nothing shady. But he knows his way around online tools. I asked him if he could trace the IP address used to apply for the card. He said he'd try. 2 days later, he called me back. Application came from an apartment complex in Scottsdale. He said, Wi-Fi account is under the name in Bradshaw. Nathan. That was it. That was my proof. I went straight back to the police. This time, with everything, screenshots, addresses, timestamps, even the email used. They opened an investigation. Rachel tried to stay neutral when I told her. But the truth was, this crossed a line she couldn't ignore. He used your identity? She asked, looking pale. Yeah, and he almost got away with it. She didn't say anything, just sat there holding her head in her hands. A few days later, she called me in tears. She just got a letter. One of her credit cards had been flagged for suspicious activity too. A card she never uses. Charges from a food delivery app, Uber rides, some electronics store. All recent. All after Nathan left. She looked at me and said, I think he got me too. I didn't say I told you so. I didn't need to. Now she filed a report. And just like that, the 2 people who had once ganged up on me were now both tangled up in a fraud investigation because of one person. Nathan was unraveling, but then something happened that I didn't expect. A week later, I came home to find the garage door wide open. Lights on, tools scattered on the floor, and the side window broken. I walked in slow, heart pounding. The place was trashed. Not just messed up, trashed. Shelves knocked over. Drawers pulled out. My workbench smashed. Power tools gone. He'd been there. I called the cops again. Filed a report for break-in and theft. I had a security cam on the inside of the garage, but the power had been cut. Wires snipped right outside the panel. Nathan knew where to go, what to hit. He must have planned it. I gave police his name again, but they said without hard video evidence, they couldn't pin it on him yet. Still, they noted it as part of the larger fraud case already being built. Rachel came over later that night. She saw the damage. Her mouth dropped open. "This is what you were protecting," I told her. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She just sat down on the driveway and stared at her hands. "I didn't think he'd ever do this," she said. I nodded. "You didn't think he'd do any of it?" We sat there in silence for a long time. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't go to Tony's. I sat in the destroyed garage, thinking, and I realized something. He'd taken things from me. But now I had something even more valuable than the tools, the money, or the garage. I had leverage, and I was going to use it. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I'd hired him during the fraud mess, but now I told him, I want to press this further. All the way. I'm done letting this guy ruin anything else. We met that same afternoon. I laid everything out. The stolen identity, the fake rent, the secret camera, the trash garage. The lawyer nodded and said the key now was evidence. That's when I handed him the flash drive, the same one I had given Rachel weeks ago. But this time I'd added something. See, while the garage camera was cut, I'd forgotten I had another one, an old dash cam wired into my pickup that I parked inside the garage. It ran on its own power, and lucky for me, it had a perfect view of the side door and the man who broke in. It wasn't just blurry footage. It was crystal clear. Nathan wearing a black hoodie and backwards cap, smashing the window, stepping inside, looking right at the truck like an idiot, then going for the tool drawers. Got him. The lawyer's eyes lit up. That's it. He's done. Within 48 hours, the police had what they needed. A formal warrant was issued. Nathan was arrested at some dingy apartment in South Scottsdale. He tried to run, didn't make it to the parking lot. Turns out he had a fake driver's license, 2 stolen credit cards, and several of my missing tools in the trunk of his car. He was also behind on rent there. He'd stiffed his roommate, who was the one who tipped off the police when they knocked on the door. That roommate said he bragged about screwing over his brother-in-law. Thought he was untouchable. He wasn't. Nathan was charged with identity theft, fraud, property damage, breaking and entering, and possession of stolen property. The DA offered a deal, plead guilty, served 9 months, plus restitution. He took it. That should have been the end. But it wasn't. Not yet. Because even after all that, I still had to face the truth. Rachel let this all happen. She wasn't the one who committed the crimes, but she opened the door, literally and emotionally. She let him into our home, ignored the signs, gave him money, took his side, lied to me, and when I asked for her to stand up, she froze. I don't think she ever meant to hurt me, but she did, in a deep, permanent way. A few weeks after Nathan was locked up, we sat down for coffee at the kitchen table. She looked tired. I probably did too. She said, I never thought it would go this far. I know. I kept thinking I could fix it before it got out of hand. You couldn't. I didn't protect you. I should have. I nodded. You protected him. And when you realized who he really was, it was too late. Tears started running down her face. Quiet, not dramatic. The kind that meant she finally got it. She said, what do we do now? I thought about that for a long time. And then I told her the truth. I don't hate you, but I don't trust you. And that's something I can't live with. We divorced quietly. No drama. I didn't go after anything extra. We split what we built. She moved to Flagstaff a few months later to take a new teaching job. We don't talk anymore. Tony helped me rebuild the garage. He and I still laugh about the whole damn thing sometimes, especially when we remember Nathan trying to charge me rent in my own house. We turned the garage into something better, a real workspace. I opened a small side business fixing up bikes and small engines. It keeps my hands busy, helps me sleep. Nathan, last I heard, he got jumped 2 months into his sentence. Something about owing someone cigarettes. Broke his nose. Got transferred to a lower-level facility where he couldn't act like he was running the show. He's supposed to pay me back $3,187 in restitution when he gets out. I'm not holding my breath, but I don't need it. I already got what I needed. Peace. Control. And the satisfaction of knowing the guy who called me just another mouth to feed ended up behind bars, eating whatever someone else gave him, whenever they said so. That was my house. And now, it's my life again. The kind I don't let anybody walk into without earning it. Especially not family.